Good afternoon, everyone. We will start with the opening mantra. Atma tvam girijamati sahachara prana shariram griham pujate vishayopabogarachana Nidra samadhi sthiti sanchara padayo pradakshina vidhi strotrani sarva giro yat yat karma karomi tadakhilam shambho tavara dhanam karacharana kritam va karyajam karmajam va shravananayana va manasam va paradham vihitam vihitam va sarvameta shamasva Jaya Jaya Shri Karunabdhe Shri Mahadev Shambho Jaya Jaya Shri Karunabdhe Shri Mahadev Shambho Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. So, to continue further, we forgot to show the picture of my Masi. So I will request Anju to please show the photograph of my Masi. She came for consecutive 3 days into the Delhi gym. So I think my Masi is on the left side of the photograph. Yes, the one who is in the pant. So she's my Masi, a very smart and handsome female, I would say. Thank you, Anju. So like I said, all the grooming that I have got is from her. Okay, so with all that was happening around in my life, with all the understanding, with all the thing which we called enlightenment and moksha, something settled deep within me that first I have to be human first. Then the higher state or the higher thing will come. When it will come, who knows. But then to become human first became a paramount thing in me. And another thing I realized during this course, that are we here on this planet just to eat, have fun, earn money, or there is some other purpose to life? And the more I thought about this question, more this thought settled in me. There has to be a deeper meaning to life. We are not just here to just live, eat, earn money, and all sorts of things. And in the process, I called myself a Khoji of life. I started unraveling the mysteries, small details, I will pay attention. And here I also remember one more incident. When I was a child, even in my young adult life, I'm not a very mirror-oriented person. I don't spend a lot of time looking at myself in the mirror. But whenever I used to look myself, there was something, ye tu hai kya? Is this you? there was always this question, is this you? और वो अभी भी क्वेश्चन, अगर मैं अपने आप को थोड़ी देर और मिरर में अगर देखती हूँ तो वो क्वेश्चन आता है, क्या ये तू है? और हर बार अंदर से जवाब आता है, नहीं, दिस इज नॉट यू. So these things were just going on in my side. And like I said in the last talk, that the need for outer guru became very much into me. So let's move ahead. So there was an instance when I was visiting a temple. I was bowing down in front of the deity. And suddenly this thought came, why beg in front of God? मुझे ये दे दो, मेरा ये कर दो, ये ठीक हो जाए, वो ठीक हो जाए. Why we are always continuously there is something like begging in front of God which is happening. And I remembered at that day I made, what should I say, a promise to myself that I'm not going to beg. I will just, whenever I visit a temple, whenever I am in front of a God, whether in a home or in front of a guru, I will just say thank you. And this gratitude slowly became a very important part of my life, daily routine life. Every day I get up in the morning and my day starts with giving gratitude to the big things that are there in life and to the small things that are there in my life. Small mundane things, simple things, kids reaching on time, husband reaching to a place, to a destination safely, me doing my work, me finishing my work, me finishing my study. Small things I started giving gratitude. Another thing happens, and whenever I used to leave home, I will always take permission from Baba, and I said, Baba, jati hu, apna khayal rakhna aur ghar ka khayal rakhna. This became a habit with me. So I will never leave home without taking his permission. Now let's move ahead to another very beautiful divinity method coming to me. So I think it was around 2013 when Gaur sir introduced us to a program called Tao Healing Hands, which now everybody is well aware of. Master Uma is here. And there was this method which sir talked about, which was called soul conferencing. And during one visit to Delhi, he was talking about it. And when he was doing the course also. My daughter at that time was studying in Patiala, Thapar Institute, and she was not going through a good phase in her studies at that time. And sir advised me, Hema, why don't you do soul conferencing with her? I said, okay, sir. So I think that night only or early in the morning when I got up, I did the soul conferencing with her. It was a very amazing experience. I saw her coming, hugging me, and all sorts of things. I was visualizing that she's coming. And I was talking to her, and then she went. And in the evening, she called us and she said, Mom, I'm back on track. And it was not just for the day. This continued. I mean, she was back on the track for the days to come. And I was very much amazed by this technique. And I think I keep on doing soul conferencing. Rarely I do it, but yes, I do it whenever the need is there. One thing that I keep in mind, I don't have to manipulate anything. I don't have to, where their purpose is being solved. I keep the larger picture in mind always, guide them and advise them accordingly. So in soul conferencing, I learned that it has to be from a mother's perspective. Okay, so now let's come to another near-death experience and another sighting that happened simultaneously. So we were posted in Bhopal in 2015. And we were traveling to Chhindwara. It's a ghat terrain. इन छिंदवाड़ा, एंड 6 घंटे का ड्राइव है फ्रॉम भोपाल टू छिंदवाड़ा, और हमें उसी सेम डे ही वापस आना था। सो हम लोग छिंदवाड़ा गए और हम लोग फिर अपना काम छिंदवाड़ा में फिनिश करके वापस आ रहे थे। दे वर टू, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द ड्राइवर 2 लोग और थे मेरे साथ, वन माय रिलेटिव और एक और असिस्टेंट उनका था। और हम लोग कार से वापस आ रहे थे और इनोवा कार थी, डार्क हो गया था थोड़ा सा और बारिश पड़नी शुरू हो गई थी। मेरी हैबिट है कि मैं कार जब कोई चलाता है तो मैं सो नहीं पाती हूँ। आई एम वेरी अलर्ट व्हेन समवन इज ड्राइविंग। तो बाकी जो दोनों लोग थे वो आफ्टर सम टाइम, क्योंकि थके हुए थे सुबह बहुत, हम लोग सुबह के उठे हुए थे सब लोग, सो दे हैव गॉन टू स्लीप एंड आई वाज सिटिंग वाइड अलर्ट एंड आई कुड मेक आउट दैट ड्राइवर थोड़ा सा रैशली कार को ड्राइव कर रहा है। एंड आफ्टर सम टाइम the car has to turn like this on the mountain terrain, and somehow कार कंट्रोल में नहीं आई और कार यहाँ पे टर्न करने की जगह हिल के कार स्किड करनी शुरू हो गई एंड इट स्टार्टेड डिसेंडिंग टुवर्ड्स द एज ऑफ द घाट, टुवर्ड्स द वैली। अभी ये 2 लोग, वो बहुत जोर से अपने ब्रेक्स लगा रहा था ड्राइवर, लेकिन बारिश की वजह से कुछ नहीं हो रहा था और हमारी कार जाती जा रही है, जाती जा रही है। ये 2 लोग भी नींद से उठ गए। द असिस्टेंट started shouting and that experience was blank. किसी की याद नहीं आ रही थी कि घर है, परिवार है, बच्चे हैं, शायद अब खत्म है मामला, डेथ सामने है, अब पता नहीं कहाँ जाएगी गाड़ी, पता नहीं। एब्सोल्यूट ब्लैंक थे और जाती जा रही है, जाती जा रही है। इट वॉज अवर लक दैट that valley was only 8 feet deep and एक मैसिव ट्री के सामने आके हमारी कार जो है फाइनली रुक जाती है, हिट नहीं करती है और सब लोग कार से बाहर निकलते हैं एंड ना गाड़ी को कोई स्क्रैच है, हम लोगों को भी कुछ नहीं होता है। एंड हमारी कार को एक कार ने और क्रॉस किया था एंड दैट कार वाज, ऑफ कोर्स बाद में पता चला कि उसमें बहुत सारे 7-8 आदमी लोग थे उसमें। उन लोगों ने हमारे कार की स्क्रीचिंग ऑफ टायर्स बहुत सुनी उन्होंने, एंड बिकॉज दे वर द फ्रीक्वेंट ट्रैवलर्स ऑन दिस घाट, उनको लगा ये लोग तो गए, तो अब चले गए तो अब देखे तो सही क्या हुआ है टाइप्स। सो दे केम और ये सारे लोग नीचे आए। इन लोगों ने फिर हमारी कार को धक्का लगाया, तो अब हम 9-10 लोग हो गए थे, तो हमने अपनी कार को धक्का लगा के हम लोग रोड पे लेके आए। उन लोगों ने ड्राइवर को थोड़ा सा डांटा, फटकारा भी कि बारिश पड़ रहा है, तुमको पता है कि ये घाट एरिया कितना रिस्की है एंड यू आर ड्राइविंग लाइक दिस, एंड समहाउ वी स्टार्टेड मूविंग अगेन। नाउ आई वाज वेरी एग्जॉस्टेड, तो आई टोल्ड कि मैं पीछे वाली सीट पे जाके बैठती हूँ, आई विल स्ट्रेच माई सेल्फ। तो मैं अपना एक कुशन लेके पीछे की थोड़ी सी भी अगर मुझे नींद आ जाएगी तो आई विल बी बेटर। एंड आफ्टर 5-10 minutes आई सॉ समवन इज सिटिंग जस्ट बिसाइड मी। मैं लेफ्ट साइड पे थी इनोवा के और यहाँ पे राइट साइड पे देयर वाज दिस गर्ल, शी वाज इन हर वाइट ट्यूनिक, curly hair this much, nice black big eyes, and she was looking like this to me. I was looking straight. I did not ऐसे मैंने उसको करके नहीं देखा कि वो क्या है, बट मुझे पता पड़ गया था कि वो मुझे देख रही है। And I got very scared. And again me, I said, बाबा ये कौन है? You please take care of her. And I know only one thing, I started reciting Hanuman Chalisa. और 2-2.5 घंटे तक, जब तक हमारी कार भोपाल टचडाउन नहीं हुई सिटी के अंदर, मैं हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ती रही, क्योंकि मैं बहुत घबराई हुई थी, क्योंकि वो गर्ल कॉन्टिन्यूसली बैठी हुई थी और मुझे देख रही थी। उसके बाद हम लोग रात के 12-1 बजे के करीब हम लोग पहुंचे और हम लोग अपने अपने घर आए. नेक्स्ट डे आई वॉज वर्किंग इन द हॉस्पिटल एट दैट टाइम. आई इन्फॉर्म्ड जो हमारे साथ जो रिलेटिव गई थी कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ. एंड दे स्टार्टेड मेकिंग स्टोरीज कि वो क्या करने आई थी, वो क्या बात करने आई थी, वो कौन थी. कुछ लोग बोलने लगे मे बी एक्सीडेंट उसने करवाया, मे बी शी वांटेड टू हार्म यू. दो ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ स्टोरीज वर सर्कलिंग. Somehow in my mind nothing was making sense and somehow in my heart I knew कि वो हार्म नहीं करना चाह रही है. कुछ महीनों के बाद my father visited me and my father is a very practical man, was, and he said, पुन्नू तुम क्या सोच रही हो? Can't you see कि she helped you, she saved you? So वो सिर्फ उसी का ही that's the only thing that she wants a thank you from you. पापा आने से पहले I sensed her in my home also in भोपाल only. तो मेरे को खुद ज्यादा ऐसा हो गया था कि कुछ तो है, क्योंकि ये यहाँ पे क्यों दिखी मेरे को फिर से. So that night I addressed her and I gave my gratitude to her and after that I didn't see her again. दूसरे एक इस पूरे इंसिडेंट से जो चीज निकल के आई वो निकल के आई कि हम बहुत ज्यादा हमेशा नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट में ही सोचने लग जाते हैं किसी भी चीज को लेके. पापा ने वो एक एस्पेक्ट दिखाया कि इसका एक दूसरा एस्पेक्ट भी है जो मेरा हार्ट अंदर से कह तो रहा था पर पूरी तरह से उसको मान नहीं रहा था. तो वो एक चीज बहुत मेजर इसमें निकल के आई कि एक हमारा माइंड हमेशा नेगेटिव चीज की तरफ सबसे पहले दौड़ लगाता है. Now let's come back to another incident which happened in 2015, I think. So my younger sister-in-law's mother, she passed away, and for the final rites we went to Indore. और पगड़ी रस्म के बारे में आप सब लोग वाकिफ तो हैं ही. सो पगड़ी रस्म थी और गुरुद्वारे में वो रस्म हो रही थी. हम सब लोग बैठे थे गुरुद्वारे में and we were waiting for the program for the rituals to start. And suddenly I saw the auntie who has passed away. She was flying up in the air like this, both her arms stretched. And she was looking down to everyone as if she was checking कि कौन-कौन आया है. And that was it. And after 2-3 days, this sister-in-law, she was talking to me and she said, Bhabhi, I had a very interesting dream of mummy. Mummy was saying कि तुमको पता है यहाँ पे मुझे क्या बुलाते हैं लोग? यहाँ पे मुझे लोग flying auntie बुलाते हैं. Because I am very fond of flying. So यहाँ पे मुझे लोग flying auntie बुलाते हैं. And I was just zapped to hear this because I haven't shared this experience जो मैंने देखा उसके साथ. मैं बोला ये ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? And then after some time when I was meditating in this house, she again came and then she said, you know what, I have come to see your house. और वो ग्राउंड फ्लोर से फर्स्ट फ्लोर गई सेकेंड्स में ऊपर नीचे एंड देन शी वाज आउट ऑफ द होम. सो आंटी के साथ वो पहला ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स रहे हैं कि मैं हमेशा उनको सेंस कर लेती थी whenever she used to be around. Let's move ahead to a much more deeper understanding with death, with the passing away of my father in 2018. So हम लोग मुंबई में पोस्टेड थे and we got this news in the evening and हम लोग ने अपना tickets book कराया, अपने suitcase pack करे, and we still had time for the taxi to come. So I was just sitting on the chair crying. So I was in a very different state of mind at that time. Slowly it was hitting me that Papa is no more. I was very close to my father. And of course we went to Delhi, and after 2-3 days I remembered कि जब मैं रो रही थी उस कुर्सी पे बैठ के, तब exactly क्या हुआ था. So when I was sitting at on that chair and crying, I have seen my father entered in the room, and three sentences he said to me. He used to call me Punti with love, and he said, Punti, don't cry. And then the second sentence he said, I am very happy. The third sentence he said, Ram uncle and Dada. Ram uncle is my Tayaji, who is no more, and Dada, my grandfather. They had come to take me. So these three things he told me, and he went away. The more I was thinking about it, the more I realized the gravity of these things, and the more I realized that I missed having a conversation with him. वो मेरे से बात कर रहे थे, लेकिन मैं एक अजीब नो मैन्स लैंड टाइप के जोन में थी उस समय. कुछ भी रियलाइज नहीं हो रहा था. To lose a parent hit me, and it hit me very hard. उस समय ऐसा लगा कि जैसे किसी ने फाउंडेशन ही हटा दी है जिसपे हम स्ट्रांगली खड़े होते हैं. लाइफ में कभी भी कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम होती थी ना, सबसे पहला फोन पापा को जाता था. पापा क्या करें? पापा यूज्ड टू से, ओके डू दिस. I remember after many months when there was some incidents, so suddenly Dinesh said, पापा को फोन लगाते हैं. And we just looked at each other because we know Papa is not there now. So this was the magnetism of my father. And my mother says that my body, and I also feel, is exactly like my father's. तो उनकी बॉडी में जो जो भी होता रहता था, I used to keep on asking him. So पापा ऐसा हो रहा है बॉडी में, तो he said, okay, stop drinking tea. You are having acidity. चाय मत पियो. अच्छा बिस्किट खाना छोड़ दे. शुगर बंद कर दे. So everything he used to have, because हमारी बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर हमारा बिल्कुल सेम, तो बिल्कुल मेरे को लगता था कि हाँ मुझे भी उन सब चीजों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए. So every night I would cry. No, I have water. Every night I would cry, go back to sleep. This continued for months and months. कोई दिन ऐसा नहीं होता था कि मेरा तकिया भीगता नहीं था अच्छे से और मैं रो के नहीं सोती थी. और मेरा दुख, मेरी पीड़ा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट थी उस समय. कहीं आना जाना, किसी से बात करना, सब बंद हो गया था. एक अजीब टाइप का लोनेस, डिप्रेशन हो गया था. और कोई लोग जब ऐसे बोलते थे, अरे अब तो बाहर निकलो, बहुत टाइम हो गया, तो एक बहुत गुस्सा आता था अंदर से कि ऐसे कैसे कोई बोल सकता है. और शायद हमने भी जब किसी के यहाँ किसी क्लोज की डेथ होती है तो हम भी ऐसे ही बोलते हैं, कम आउट. बट आज उन चीजों से मैं गुजर रही थी कि कैसा होता है अंदर. And I used to dream of him regularly. and in the dreams he will always have a blank face. And I could make out कि वो खुश नहीं है मेरे को ऐसे देख के, लेकिन मैं उस चीज को सोचती ही नहीं थी. मेरा दुख उनके रिएक्शन से ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड मुझे याद है मेरे पास बॉम्बे में मेरी 2 फ्रेंड्स आई थी, ऋतु एंड वंदिता, एंड आई वाज शेयरिंग माय ड्रीम्स विद देम एंड देन सेड, हेमा तुम इतनी समझदार हो, तुमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि वो क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं. आई सेड यस, मुझे समझ में आ रहा है. तो ही सेड ट्राई टू वर्क ऑन इट. और उस दिन से मैंने अपने ऊपर काम करना शुरू किया, और धीरे 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 करते करते I started coming out, and I think after few more months in one of my dreams he smiled, and that day I got that validation that he's happy now. So till now whenever I talk about him, it's with that what a great being he was. Of course अंदर से मन भरता है, but so death, it realized me how selfish we become. We only think about ourselves. हमें सिर्फ अपने बारे में समझ में आती है. हम जो इंसान, जो व्यक्ति, जो प्यारा हमारा गया है, उसके बारे में हम कुछ नहीं सोचते. ये बहुत सारी हमको राजन भाई के टॉक से पता चला कि कितना इम्पोर्टेंट, कितने प्रेशियस है वो मोमेंट्स to talk to the soul who has just left the body. I remember Dinesh, of course, used to tell me, Hema, talk to him. He can listen to you. Hema, talk to him. Tell him to choose a good body which is healthy. So many things he used to tell me, but I used to do it. जब उसने बोला तब बाकी टाइम फिर उसी जोन में चली जाती थी. So, and how the person went, my father went on a Sunday afternoon. He worked from Monday to Saturdays. He used to travel from Gurgaon to Delhi by bus, then by metro. He was I think above 80 at that time, and he went on a Sunday afternoon, on a Sunday nap. He was taking his Sunday nap, had it food, has his food, और सोए और फिर उठे नहीं. इससे अच्छा तरीका जाने का और क्या हो सकता है. लेकिन हम अपने ही पापा चले गए, अपने ही पता नहीं किस दुनिया में थे. So this death gave me this understanding that there is much to do. Okay, so now let's move ahead. अभी just session शुरू होने से पहले Nishi ji and Gaur sir and me were there, and Nishi ji was talking that it requires courage to talk about something which is so close about your life and family. So this incident which I will share you opened spaces for me for asking for help. So my daughter had to go to Germany for an internship in 2018 after my father's passing away. She was not interested in going because she was also very close to her Nana. And then somehow we made her understand that Nana was so happy to see her blossoming, to see her having her career and every sort of things. So she agreed and she went. So her one check-in baggage got lost. And she became very disturbed. She was already disturbed. Now you can imagine how much of stuff we take when we go abroad, all the things are important in our bags. So 3 days passed with no bag inside, and clearly she was not in a good frame of mind. We told her to buy things, buy stuff, but the things are very expensive there. Money is very expensive. So that was also making her more irritated and cause of concern. And I had a flight to catch for Delhi, and I was in the flight sitting. And me being very naive at that time, ऐसा बोलते हैं कि जो लोग चले जाते हैं उनसे बात करो तो वो आपका सुनते हैं. And I called my father that day. And I told her कि see पापा, ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है. वो वहां परेशान है, हम यहाँ बैठ के कुछ कर नहीं सक रहे हैं. मैं जितना भी उसको समझा रही हूँ वो नहीं समझ पा रही है. शी इज इन अ डिफरेंट जोन. आई नीड योर हेल्प. उसका बैग उसको मिल जाए. प्लीज लोकेट हर बैग. And it was a 5-minute kind of talk with my father. In the evening, she called us. There was a message on WhatsApp in the group. She said they have located a bag with a green lock just to be sure that this is her bag. And I said, what is this? Everyone told us कि अब 3 दिन हो गए, अब बैग मिलने की अब भूल जाओ आप. And next morning she got her bag. It was a learning experience, like I said, to ask for help. Of course, we ask for help for small things. But the larger issues, the issues जहाँ पे हमारी क्या बोले स्टेटस, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कैसे बताऊं अपने लाइफ के बारे में, मैं कैसे मदद मांगू, सब लोगों को मेरे बारे में पता पड़ जाएगा कि हेमा की लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है. And this changed something in me. And with that, I started talking about my life, my issues with the very close circle of my friends. We have around 7 to 8 friends. And उससे क्या हुआ कि वहां पे 6 से 7 माइंड्स आपके प्रॉब्लम को सुनते हैं और उसमें से कुछ नई चीज निकलती है. दे शो यू अ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, अ डिफरेंट लाइन ऑफ थिंकिंग जो आप सोच ही नहीं रहे हो, क्योंकि आप तो हमेशा उस प्रॉब्लम को उसी डायरेक्शन में हर बारी जाते हो और वहां से लौट के आ जाते हैं. So all these friends, all the times, they gave me different perceptions, different thought, different style of looking into that matter or coming out of that situation, which helped me a lot. So this is something which I learned, that always ask for help whenever we are stuck. Now let's move ahead a little further. Another event of asking universe. Now this was a serious question which I put through. After my father's passing away, my brother was in Gurgaon and I was in Mumbai. And my father and brother, they were looking after the business. And suddenly with him passing away, everything was just going haywire in his life. He has to look after the business, he has to handle himself, his family, my mother, banks, so many things. And I asked a question, just excuse me. So I asked a question from universe. I said, I want to know that my father is looking after him, my brother, and he is aware what is happening in his life, because my brother was clearly not in a good shape. And I said, I also need an answer by the end of the day. That day passed. Around 8 o'clock in the night, my brother called me and he narrated an incident to me. He said, there was a call from police station in Delhi, and there is some mishap which has happened. He approved, he's an approved civil engineer, so he gives his approval for the sanctioned plan for the construction side. And he said that that site, something has happened, some roof has fallen, injuring some workers. And the inspector called, and it was Saturday, so my brother told the inspector, sir, Monday को आता हूँ. अभी तो इंस्पेक्टर, सर मंडे नहीं, आज ही थाने आना है आपको. You know how the fear grips you at that time. He went, and luckily he had that paper with him on which he has given the approval, the plan. He took that paper along with him, and before reaching the police station, he visited the site to see what exactly has happened. And he could make out that the construction that they had made was not according to the plan which he has approved. So he had some relief there. So he went, and the inspector, he waited for a few hours there outside, waiting for the inspector to call him. And कुछ टाइम के बाद इंस्पेक्टर ने उनको अंदर बुलाया और उनसे वो कागज वागज देखा. बोले ये तो ठीक है, आपके पास कागज है, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन अभी ये केस तो बनेगा ही, और वर्कर्स को तो इंजरी हुई है, अभी कितनी सीरियस इंजरी है वो तो अभी पता नहीं है. आपको तो आना ही पड़ेगा, केस बनेगा, थाने आना पड़ेगा, कोर्ट आना पड़ेगा. And my brother was sitting there in front of him, and he was just thinking, and he just out of that when you are पूरी तरह से हम हताश निराश हो जाते हैं, and he just called my father and he said, पापा ये सब क्या हो रहा है, आप देख रहे हो ये सब, मतलब कहाँ कहाँ मैं अभी दौड़ लगाऊं, कहाँ कहाँ मैं किस किस को संभालूं. And when police inspector said, आप बाहर जाके बैठिए, मैं आपको फिर बुलाता हूँ. Again he waited, and again he called. He said, आप मिस्टर मोटवानी है ना? सर जी हाँ. बोले एक मिस्टर नन मोटवानी होते थे जिनके साथ मैंने पालम एयरपोर्ट पे काम किया है, एंड क्या तो इंजीनियर हैं वो, और बहुत ही सज्जन व्यक्ति हैं, और उनके मेरे पास फोन आते थे, लेकिन अभी पिछले कुछ दिनों से उनका फोन नहीं आया. आप जानते हैं क्या उनको? So my brother said, sir, he's my father. तो और फिर पुलिस इंस्पेक्टर अपनी चेयर से उठ के खड़े हो गए. सेड आप मोटवानी साहब के बेटे हैं? बोले जी. तो बोले मोटवानी साहब, तो my brother informed me, sir, he passed away just recently. तो he said, आप जाइए, मैं ये देख लूंगा आप. And my brother said thank you to him, and he was narrating me this incident, and I got my answer from universe that yes, I am aware of what's happening in him, in his life. So this was a serious question which I asked because I was very much worried about my brother. Now let's move further ahead. My pet dog buddy, whom I called Chota Guru, he passed away in 2019, and we came back home after cremating him. और हम सब लोग अपने अपने जोन में सब उदास थे. 12 साल तक बड़ी हमारे साथ था, दुखी थे सब लोग, रो भी रहे थे, और हम लोग ड्राइंग रूम में बैठे हुए थे सब लोग. सुबह का वक्त था और मैं जिस सोफे पे बैठी थी उस सोफे के सामने डोर दिखता था ड्राइंग रूम को एंटर होने वाला. एंड अगेन आई वाज इन दैट वैक्यूम काइंड ऑफ जोन, नो मैन्स लैंड जिसको बोलते हैं. एंड I saw, what should I say, a creature or an entity, I would say, not a human being, headless. मुझे सिर्फ गर्दन से नीचे तक का हिस्सा, this was a huge black figure, and the figure was entering in the drawing room. He was wearing a very big gold ornaments on the neck and on the arm. And the moment I realized कि ये क्या दिख रहा है मेरे को, that vision just vanished. And after a day, I think I mentioned it to Dinesh, and Dinesh said, the way you are mentioning it, describing this, it looks like Ketu. He said, Google it and find out, is this the same thing that you saw? So I would like Anju to please, Anju, can you please show the photograph of my father first? Can we have the next slide, please? Of course, the sword and the hands I have not seen, but the gold that is there and the black, this is exactly what I saw. Yes, thank you, Anju. So I'm still not able to make out what it meant, what it wanted to say. But over the years, I read, Anju also told me that Ketu is a planet of spiritual growth and detachment. So I thought maybe because after 2019, COVID happened and so many things and so much of transformation happened. Okay. So one day I was flying and I was watching the scene below. Of course, I was on the window seat. And I was just watching on all the tiny houses. And of course, you cannot see the human beings in them. You can only make out the houses there. And this little voice said inside me, there are so many people living in these houses. Each one of them have their own stories, their own struggles, their pains. From this distance, can you see them? And does it matter? And then why your pain, your struggle is so important? Who are you in the larger scheme of things? And very casually, we say, Bhagwan ne mere saath aisa kar diya. You know, why God did this to me? Does it make any sense? इतने ऊपर से भगवान को क्या दिख रहा है? कौन है किस घर में? So to say. And one thing I realized that looking down, yes, you are nobody. And this became a very good exercise for me for every time in every plane journey that I took to reduce the ego. reduce, just drop it slowly, slowly. Every time I remember, keep on remembering, myself. You are nobody. Just drop it. So we have done a lot of meditation sessions with Gorsers. Few of the experiences I will share, only 2 or 3 which are very important. So I was meditating, and in that meditation my awareness started going to all the people whom I know. That happened within seconds. Friends, family, extended families, workers, जहाँ जहाँ पे मेरी awareness जा रही थी, and it happened in a span of few seconds. I tried it, doing it after some time, but I was not able to do it, and that made me realize कि हमारा mind कितना fast process करता है कभी किसी, और क्या स्पीड है माइंड की. और वो एक इंसिडेंट ऐसा क्या हुआ कि 200-300 लोग उस सेकंड्स में कवर हुए, उनके चेहरे मेरे आंखों के सामने आ रहे थे. There were one more incident when COVID hit us. There was a lot of talk about that Mother Earth needs healing, needs prayer. And I, being myself, I said, okay, let me offer my healing to Mother Earth. And one fine morning, I imagined Mother Earth in a ball shape in front of my hands. And I started giving healing to Mother Earth. And I would say some voice said to me, don't do it. Stop it. You will harm yourself. And I stopped it that very moment. There was one sound healing experience where Gorser has taken us to a out-of-body experience, where I saw myself up in the roof, my body below. And when I entered, when he said you entered, so I entered as a light. And the first sentence that I said to myself, oh, I'm stuck. And that incident made me realize that how much of layers of conditioning, of sanskars, of knots हमने अपने ऊपर लगा दी हैं कि हम इस लाइट को देख ही नहीं पाते हैं. And that day I told myself, made a little promise inside that I will try to peel one layer at least. I will try to keep on peeling some layer ताकि ये लाइट थोड़ी सी तो ब्राइट होती जाए. Moving further ahead, I got more tools, more methods, Akashic and Shamanic. And I would like to thank Reena and Just here for imparting that knowledge. And with these tools in my hand, I started doing journeys to find out why my son had to go through the heart issue. I could understand कि बिना मेरे कुछ किए ये मेरे पास ऐसे नहीं आया है. पास्ट में जरूर कुछ तो बीज बोए गए हैं इस चीज के, मैंने बोए हैं, जो ये चीज मेरे पास आई है. ये बहुत अच्छी तरह से मुझे समझ में आ गया था. So I was, of course, this is a process of many days, but 2 incidents जो निकल के आए. So in one of the incidents, I was shown that I was a Vaidya in a very ancient civilization. And जो भी prisoners of wars होते थे, उनको हम लोग capture करते थे. और जो भी बहुत valiant होते थे और बहुत strong prisoners होते थे, I used to remove their hearts and offer it to sun god, as an offering. We used to pray to sun god, और मैं as a वैद्य वो hearts निकालती थी. वो एक अलग स्टोरी है कि मुझे ये कैसे विजन्स आए। और जब मैंने ये रीना को बताया तो रीना ने जब ये ढूंढा, आई विल लाइक टू शेयर, लाइक अंजू टू शेयर द फोटोग्राफ्स वन आफ्टर द अदर। रीना सेड दिस इज एस्टेक सिविलाइजेशन, जहां पे ये होता था। There is one more journey. So this is the aeroplane journey, which always reminds me, drop your ego. You are nobody. Yes, Anju, can we have the next one, please? So exactly this is the image. Once I did the journey कि एक altar है, वहां से blood बह रहा है और मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ वहां पे. Second image. So ये heart निकाला गया है. And third one. So you can see, अगर आपको बहुत clear दिख रहा है तो ये सन गॉड को ऑफर किया जाता है, हार्ट जो है. सो दिस वाज शोन टू मी. यस, थैंक यू अंजू. Another incident which was shown to me during the course of my readings, of finding out why this is there in my life, that I, under the influence of some substance, has harmed a child. किसी को बच्चे को मैंने हार्म किया था. और इन दो इंसिडेंट से बहुत क्लैरिटी और बहुत समझ में आया that you only get what you have sowed in the past. Later, अनुराधा भाटिया मैम के साथ बैठ के बहुत कर्मा के ऊपर डिस्कशंस हुए मेरे, और बहुत क्लैरिटी मिली उस चीजों से मुझे. So now I learned two things. एक तो ये कार्मिक बैगेज को एग्जॉस्ट करना है, और दूसरा ये जो पेन जो उन लोगों ने फील किया, या जो जिस बच्चे को मैंने हार्म किया था अपने किसी प्रीवियस लाइफ टाइम में, उसके पेन को जो मुझे फील करना था, ये दोनों चीजों से मैं गुजरी. और इसके साथ साथ एक जो चीज हुई वो हुई फॉरगिवनेस प्रैक्टिस, जो मेरी लाइफ का एक परमानेंट फीचर बन गई. कि हमने पता नहीं जिंदगी में अब तक के पास्ट लाइफ्स में, आज ने उम्र में, इंटेंशनली अनइंटेंशनली कितने लोगों का बुरा कभी उनको लग गया होगा, कुछ कहा होगा, कुछ कर दिया. कुछ तो हमें पता रहते हैं कि हाँ मैंने बुरा उसको बोला था, ऐसा डांट मारी थी, या बुरा बर्ताव किया था, कुछ याद नहीं रहते. सो फॉरगिवनेस बिकेम a very important part of my daily routine every day. And then after some time I also made a list of this current lifetime of people whom I have hurt, which I knew I have hurt. I called them up and I of course said sorry to them. It was a very difficult to pick up the phone and say sorry, but I did that. I shared with God sir also. Both of us, Dinesh and me, we also ask sorry from both of our children, because we don't know as a parent, we might have done or said something which they would have not liked it. बहुत सारी चीजें होती है पेरेंटिंग में. बच्चे जब बड़े हो जाते हैं तब समझ में आता है कि पेरेंटिंग कैसे करनी चाहिए. शायद कोई रूल बुक और गाइड बुक आनी चाहिए. So anyhow, so now let's come to another aspect of healing. This includes healing. This includes certain readings जिससे मुझे पता पड़ा कि मेरे को क्यों है ये प्रॉब्लम. So my menopause phase started, and it was a very bad phase of my life. It went on for more than 5 years. I used to bleed heavily, 3 months continuously, with all the medications and everything. Nothing was working. My hemoglobin, my energy levels dipped to alarming levels. My hemoglobin went to 7. And that time COVID situation has eased out a little bit. And that time Dinesh told me, why are you going through all this? You should go and get your uterus removed. My sister-in-law, who is a gynecologist in Bhopal, she also said कि भाभी अब ये medicine से कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, अब it's time. I said okay, fine. So I went in the balcony and I started watering my plants. And when I was watering my plants, this little voice again came out and I said, जब बच्चे चाहिए थे तब तो बहुत जरूरत थी इस organ की. आज बच्चे हो गए, अब जरूरत नहीं है, अब निकाल के फेंक दो. How easy it is, na? How convenient. And it hit me hard. And I said, I'm not going to remove it. I came back. Dinesh was in the room. I told him, I said, I'm not going to take it out. He said, you're crazy. He said, I said, period. मैं इसको नहीं निकालने वाली हूँ and I'm ready. इसको जितना मेरे को तंग करना है इसको करने दो, पर अब मैं इसको निकालने नहीं वाली. And somehow I got some will from within to handle this problem of uterus. And after some months, I also got to know through some pranic healing कि अगर हम अपने बॉडी का कोई ऑर्गन निकाल देते हैं तो हमारा प्राणिक फ्लो जो है वो डिस्टर्ब होता है. This gave me more strength because we are on spiritual path. So I said नहीं, मुझे नहीं निकालना है इसको. And then I started communicating with my uterus. So the things which I used to say were very plain, simple 3 sentences which Master Uma always says. And I used to say, dear uterus, I love you, I honor you, I respect you. I know you have the power to heal yourself. Please heal yourself. Do a good job. You can do a good job. So these simple sentences I used to keep on putting my hands on my uterus and say it. And I said, I'm not going to remove you. You are going to be a part of me. So it's okay. You take your time. I'm with you. So these were the things which I always used to keep on saying. My friend Aparna, who is a pranic healer, she also helped me in and guided me in going through all this. And after a few months, a strange thing happened. I started communicating with water. So whenever I used to take showers, I started talking to water, that I used to address water, dear water, please heal me. And I used to just close my eyes and just feel that it's just cleansing me. Our webinars of Vivek Bhau helped me when he talked about Shiv Manas Puja. And he said, when you are taking bath, you can just imagine that Ganga is there, that you are taking bath in Ganga. And I started doing all these things. I used to take showers and I used to say, okay, that Ganga is flowing. It's just cleansing me. It's just healing my uterus. So with water, I had a very deep connection. Even when I was small child, whenever I used to have fever, I used to say, मैं नहा लूंगी तो मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगी. Coming to Bombay was very therapeutic because of a very large water body there. Rains, I feel that some divinity is pouring at that time. I never miss a chance of going in the terrace, sitting in a meditation and just absorb the rains, the divinity pouring. So coming back to the uterus, now I started asking questions. I realized कि ये यूट्रस इस लाइफ टाइम का तो नहीं लग रहा है. Both my children are C-section, and I could sense that it has to do with some past lives. So I did a journey. So in one of my past lives, I saw that I died in the childbirth while giving birth. So that was the first. The second one, I saw that my husband is a drunkard, and some communication was happening between me and my husband. And he, in a fit of anger, he just pushed me in the wall, and there was something protruding from the wall which went inside me, and I fell down and I died in that process. So these two incidents were shown to me. And the more I was given, the more I said, I have to work on this uterus. Going further ahead, when the COVID eased, I went for another sonography. And this time, there was some abnormality that was found, and I was told to consult gynecologist, and now to remove it is the only option. I said, okay, fine. So my biopsy was taken, and the report that came out with the biopsy was there is some abnormality in the cells, meaning some cancer is developing there. And we consulted oncologist, and I was told to go in for lots of tests there. MRI was advised, and another biopsy was also, the report again was made. So I went through this MRI procedure. MRI was a very taxing procedure for me. Full 2 hours, they told me not to move. Closed, dark room. MRI is a very massive tunnel. I will like Anju to show the picture of that MRI machine. And nobody in that dark room. They have given me a button. The button was not functioning all the time. Even if I scream, they will not hear me. One more thing before, Anju, just hold on. This photograph, I will mention here, this is the only photograph that I have got of me and my grandfather. The marks that you see in this photograph are all made by me. I used to hold this photograph in my hand like this, crumpled. And I was 3-year-old when my grandfather passed away. So I asked this question in one of my readings, why I feel such a strong bond with my grandfather. So I was only 3 years old. So the answer came, you are his daughter. And my Bua, whom I have not seen, she has passed away in childbirth. So if I join the dots, perhaps I am that Bua. So this is that photograph. So this is the first impression of a 3-year-old child, that something precious that she has got in her hands. Yeah, can I show can we have the photograph of MRI? So the machine, now you can see the kind, यहाँ तो लाइट दिख रहा है, वो इतना डार्क रूम हो जाता है कि कुछ दिखता नहीं है. फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस, इतनी जोर जोर से मशीन आवाज करती है, आपके पास कोई नहीं है, आपको लगता है आप आंख खोलेंगे तो आप डर जाएंगे कि ये क्या चीज है ये. एंड आई अगेन, बिकॉज ऐसे हाथ रख दिए थे, एक हाथ भी मूव नहीं करना है, and I started reciting again Hanuman Chalisa. That is the thing that I know. और वो चलती रहा. And then after midway through this process, I started communicating with this MRI machine at how people are scared of you, scared of coming into you. And I said कि maybe आपके पास आज के बाद से लोग आए. It looks like you are in a big, womb, big mother's womb. Some womb is there in which you are in. You are holding me in her lap. And that is how the conversation with me and the machine started happening that day. And MRI turned out to be a very deep spiritual experience with no negative findings. Thank you, Anju, for sharing. So now my uterus is healed. I have not to removed it, though it took 5-6 years for me. But this is the thing which I say, that we all have the power to heal ourselves. Somehow we forget that thing. And with this understanding, another thing came to me, that something else will now come in my lap for me to tackle. And I was right. So moving ahead, so I used to have a lot of fear of darkness. And I remember that after Sanjay Bhatia's talks, I used to go for some personal sittings, individual sittings to Sir. And I have told him about the fear aspect of it. And I have told him about my journey. And very smilingly, sometimes, one of the time he said, "Hema, कितना काम किया है तुमने अपने ऊपर?" मैंने बोला, हाँ सर, लेकिन अभी तो कोई मिला नहीं है अभी तक. I haven't still found any guru. So then I was in Chennai all alone in COVID times. I was in a guest house. Guest house was fully empty. I was traveling to Chennai's lanes for having dinner and everything, and I realized that अब मुझे डर नहीं लग रहा है उतना. And that time I realized संजय सर ने कुछ तो किया है मेरे ऊपर काम, जिससे मुझे अब उतना फियर नहीं लग रहा है. Now let's talk about Saturn. So in 2008, Saturn entered into my life as Mahadasha, which is still continuing, and which is for 19 years till 2026. It will be there in my life. और वैसे तो मैं बहुत जन्मपत्री दिखाती नहीं थी, पर जिसको भी कभी दिखाई वो लोग कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं बोलते थे. अरे आपको तो शनि महादशा है, ऐसा है, काले से दूर रहो, काला कपड़ा मत पहनो, ये मत करना. एक शनि महाराज से, एक शनि देव से एक डर बिठा दिया उन्होंने अंदर दिलो दिमाग पे. और आपका तो पूरा का पूरा प्राइम ही शनि महादशा में चला गया है. मतलब कुल मिला के कहने का मतलब ये है कि कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं, इसलिए जन्मपत्री अपनी बंद करो, अपने पास रखो. And of course, life was tough with children, with life. So many things were happening. And in the year 2020, I happened to visit a temple. I was not. मैं शनि भगवान की मूर्ति को भी देखने में भी अब डर लगने लगता था मेरे को. So पंडित जी ने बुलाया, बोले आप तेल चढ़ा दीजिए मूर्ति को. अब पंडित जी ने बोला तो मना नहीं कर सके. So I was offering oil, and the moment I was offering oil, there was that tears of gratitude were flowing through my eyes कि आप ही की वजह से तो इतना पेशेंस, हार्ड वर्क, डिसिप्लिन मेरी लाइफ में आया है. अगर ये नहीं होते, ये अगर पीरियड मेरी लाइफ में नहीं आता, तो ये सब चीजें भी लाइफ में नहीं आनी थी मेरे. So that day I realized that all that pain and suffering that is there in their life is all because of ego, attachments and desires. So now इन तीनों पे काम करना बहुत जरूरी हो गया मेरे लिए. कभी पास हो जाती हूँ, कभी फेल हो जाती हूँ. पर अंजू ने बहुत मदद की सैटर्न को समझने में. और धीरे धीरे अब जब भी सैटर्न की बातें होती हैं तो लगता है हाथी कि भाई आप हैं तो मैं हूं, जो समझ में आया है आज तक. Let's move ahead. In March 21, with the entry of Rajan sir in our webinar. And it was a turning point for my life. पहले तो मैंने उनके वीडियोस जितने भी हम लोगों के साथ उन्होंने किए वो देखे और फिर कुछ और सुने. And after that time, in the March month only, I had this inner calling to learn the refining exercises. So I called sir. मैंने बोला सर मुझे पर्सनली जाके किसी से रिफाइनिंग एक्सरसाइजेस सीखने हैं. तो सर ने बोला रश्मि जी हैं, तुम्हारे घर के पास रहती हैं. So I messaged Rashmi ji and somehow COVID situations उनके घर पे इधर उधर की वजह से ये मामला जुलाई तक टल गया. और फिर मैं 10 जुलाई को मैंने रश्मि जी के पास से उन्होंने मुझे रिफाइनिंग सिखाई और वहां से मेरी जर्नी शुरू हुई. राजन भाई के पास मुझे वो मिला जो मैं ढूंढ रही थी कि जो हमारी डीप कंडीशनिंग और संस्कार हैं मैं उनके ऊपर काम कैसे करूं, क्योंकि सब तो दिख रहा था मेरे को. और फिर 12 साल मुझे लगे अपने उस डेस्टिनेशन पे पहुंचने के लिए. और मुझे लगता है कि शायद 12 साल इसलिए भी लगे कि मुझे अपने अंदर एक बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग की जरूरत थी राजन भाई को और सोली भाई को समझने के लिए, जो शायद पहले मेरे पास नहीं थी. सो यहाँ पे और एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बताने चाहूंगी कि आई एम अ फ्रीक्वेंट नाउ विजिटर टू राजन भाई's शिविर, and mostly his shivers are in Gujarati and I am a non Gujarati. लेकिन मैं अपने जो पोस्टिंग के हमारे 10 साल हम लोगों ने गुजरात में काटे हैं, तो बोलनी टुकड़ों टुकड़ों में छोटी छोटी आती है लेकिन समझ पूरी लेती हूँ. तो मैं जब राजन भाई को जब सुनती हूँ उनके गुजराती लेक्चर्स को, तो मैं सोचती हूँ सीड तो पहले ही डल चुका था कि तुझे कुछ गुजराती में समझना है तो इतना तो सीख ले. सो तो ऐसा लगता है किसी को तो पता ही है, तो फिर जल्दबाजी किस चीज की है, जब जब होना है वो अपने हिसाब से हो जाएगा. ओके, सो नाउ लेट्स मूव टू अनदर इंटरेस्टिंग एपिसोड. जब मैंने अपने ऊपर पीएलआर करवाया एक बारी, और उस पीएलआर में मैंने देखा कि मैं एक बहुत बड़ा कोई एक क्रीचर हूं जिसको व्हाइट कलर का, जिसको बाल है, और ऐसा लगा कि जैसे वो एवरेस्ट में रहता है वो, और वो मेल है लेकिन उसने अपनी अपनी फैमिली को कहीं छुपा के रखा हुआ है. और ये जो मेल है इसने ये देखा है कि एक साधु है जो उस केव में साधना करता है. अब मैं इसको हिम मानव करके बोलती एड्रेस करती हूँ. तो ये हिम मानव को इस साधु के पास से कुछ चाहिए. क्या चाहिए? लाइफ के बारे में कुछ चाहिए, या तो कुछ सिद्धि चाहिए या मिस्ट्रीज ऑफ लाइफ चाहिए. तो ये हिम मानव उस साधु की सारी काम करता है, उसको खाना बना के देना, खिलाना, शिकार पकड़ के लेके आना, उसके लिए आग जलाना, ये सब करना. तो मैं बड़ी ही वो थी कि ये किस तरह का मैं पीएलआर में देख रही हूँ. एंड देन साधु मुझे कुछ नहीं देता है, शायद साधु के पास कुछ था ही नहीं. एंड आई एम वेरी डिसहार्टेंड, क्योंकि मैंने क्वेश्चन किसी और चीज का पूछा था, तो वो जो पेन है उस पेन का आंसर मुझे ये दिया गया था. और जब बाद में कुछ महीनों के बाद जिन्होंने मेरा पीएलआर किया था उन्होंने ही मुझे वो बताया कि हेमा देखो ये येती है. सो यू आर अ येती इन योर some previous life. Anju, can you show the photograph? दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई हैव सीन कि कोई इस तरह से लंबा चौड़ा कुछ जानवर है कोई. या थैंक यू. ओके, नाउ सो लेट्स मूव अहेड. सो बिकॉज ऑफ सेल्फ ऑब्जर्वेशन मेरे को एक चीज समझ में आई कि मेरा खाने के साथ कुछ अलग ही कनेक्शन है. मैंने ये रियलाइज किया कि मैं जरूरत से ज्यादा खाना खाती हूँ. और धीरे धीरे ये रियलाइज किया कि जब मैं घर से बाहर जाती हूँ तब और जरूरत से ज्यादा खाना खाती हूँ. ये सब दिनों और महीनों के सेल्फ ऑब्जर्वेशन के बाद की घटनाएं हैं. और ये रियलाइज हुआ कि जब खाना खा रही होती हूँ बाहर तो माइंड में ये एक थॉट रहता है कि अगला खाना तेरे को नहीं मिलेगा, इसलिए तू ज्यादा खाना खा लेती है. चाहे मैं कितना भी अपने आप को समझाती थी कि अरे भैया अगला खाना मिलेगा, लेकिन वो होता नहीं था. उससे क्या होता था, आई यूज टू टेंड टू पुट ऑन वेट. फिर उस वेट को निकालो, फिर कहीं जा रहे तो टेंशन कि अरे ये फिर से चढ़ेगा. एक अजीब तरह के विशियस सर्कल में मैं फंसी हुई थी. लेकिन रियलाइज हो रहा था कि कुछ तो है. फिर जब मैंने अपने ऊपर पीएलआर किया, मतलब जिसने मेरे ऊपर किया, तो मेरे पास क्वेश्चन रेडी था कि मेरा फूड के साथ क्या रिलेशनशिप है और ये इनसिक्योरिटी क्यों है मेरे अंदर खाने को लेके. सो ड्यूरिंग रिग्रेशन आई सॉ माई सेल्फ एज अ यंग गर्ल ऑफ 5-6 year old जो एक पगडंडियों में से निकलती हुई जा रही है. और ये भी मुझे एहसास हुआ कि उस लड़की को उसके माँ बाप ने अकेला छोड़ दिया है, मतलब अबैंडन कर दिया है. माँ बाप भी दिखे, माँ बाप छोटी हाइट के मजदूर हैं जो सड़क के आसपास के काम करते हैं. सिर्फ एक छोटा सा थैला है एक बिलोंगिंग के नाम पे. और उन्होंने मुझे इसलिए छोड़ दिया कि मुझे कहाँ कहाँ लेके घूमते फिरेंगे, तो इसको छोड़ दो. अभी मैं उन पगडंडियों में से घूमती हुई, कुछ दुकानें दिख रही हैं कुछ मार्केट एरिया में, वहां जा रही हूँ क्योंकि मुझे खाना चाहिए. और वहां पे जो ढाबे पे जो दो लोग बैठे हैं आपस में, और भी जो ढाबे पे लोग हैं, वो लोग एक दूसरे से बातें करते हैं और जोर जोर से हंसते हैं और फिर बोलते हैं आ गई फिर से खाना मांगने. और मैं 5-6 साल का छोटा बच्चा, मेरे अंदर उस समय जो भावनाएं चल रही थी, शर्म आ रही है, कैसे खाना मांगू, लेकिन खाना चाहिए. और वो किसी भी तरह से ऐसे फेंक के जो खाना दिया, और जितना दिया, क्योंकि अगला खाना मुझे नहीं मिलेगा, तो वो खा लेती थी मैं. इस तरह से वो लाइफ चली. फिर इस चीज का भी रियलाइजेशन हुआ कि आई वॉज मिसयूज्ड बाय दोज पीपल इन ऑफरिंग ऑफ फूड. फिर और एक और टाइम देखा मैंने जब मैं 17-18 साल की थी कि मैंने आई जम्प्ड फ्रॉम अ क्लिफ एंड एंडेड दैट लाइफ ऑफ दैट लाइफ टाइम. अब ये इंसिडेंट्स देखने के बाद मैंने अपने आप से, जब भी जब हम बहुत शांत मन में होते हैं तब बात करना शुरू किया कि ये जो हुआ खाने को लेके, ये पीछे लाइफ टाइम का हुआ. अभी खाना भरपूर मात्रा में तेरे पास है, तेरे को खाना हमेशा मिलेगा. वो एक अलग लाइफ टाइम था जब तेरे पास भोजन नहीं था. यू डोंट हैव टू ईट मोर. सो आई एम स्टिल वर्किंग ऑन इट, बट नाउ आई हैव अ मच कंट्रोल ऑन माई फूड इनटेक की. वो जो इनसिक्योरिटी है वो अब कम हो गई है. यहाँ पे मैं एक इंसिडेंट और बताऊंगी कि जब मैं दिल्ली में थी, 2012-13 की बात है, तो बोला गया था कि आप गुरुवार का फास्ट रखें. अब आप सोचें, उस समय तो ये रियलाइजेशन भी नहीं थी. मैं कैसे फास्ट रखती थी वो मुझे पता है. कब रात आएगी, कब भोजन मिलेगा, कब भोजन मिलेगा। और मुझे याद है कि मैं इस बहुत कश्मकश में थी कि मैं क्या करूं, रखूं कि छोड़ दूं उपवास रखना। और एक दिन मैं अपने बाहर पानी दे रही थी, तो मैंने देखा कि बाहर से कोई साईं की पालकी निकलती थी, वहां से गुटकों में से निकल रही थी। मैंने देखा ठीक है आ रही, मैं अंदर चली गई, पानी देना बंद किया, काम खत्म हो गया। 1-2 मिनट के बाद ही मेरी डोरबेल बजी, तो वो बाबा की पालकी के ही ब्राह्मण थे, वो बाहर खड़े थे। मैंने बोला, सोचा कुछ मांगने को आए होंगे, तो मैंने बोला जी। बोलते हैं बाबा कह रहे हैं आप उपवास के लिए नहीं बनी हैं। आई वॉज एप्ट टू लिसन टू दिस काइंड ऑफ दिस थिंग। और बोला जी ठीक है। बोले आप उपवास के लिए नहीं बनी हैं, आप उपवास ना रखें। उस दिन से मैंने उपवास रखना छोड़ दिया। लेकिन ये फूड का जो खुला, ये अभी 2020 में जाके ओपन अप हुआ है। तो इस तरह से ये फूड की जर्नी जो है वो स्टार्ट हुई। सो कमिंग टू द लास्ट pointer of the day. So as you all know, I shifted from Mumbai to Bhopal, and मेरे पास पाम के बहुत बड़े प्लांट्स हैं। और जब वंदिता की शिफ्टिंग हुई थी फ्रॉम गुड़गांव टू पुणे, वंदिता ने अपने टॉक में मेंशन में ऐसे मुझे बोला कि हेमंत बहुत सारे प्लांट्स जल गए थे, क्योंकि कैंटर में जब सामान रखते हैं कैंटर को लॉक कर देते हैं, 2 दिन न हवा जारी न धूप जारी, तो प्लांट्स मर जाते हैं उसके अंदर। सो ये चीज मेरे दिमाग में बैठ गई थी। सो जब हमारा सामान सारा लोड हो गया और लास्ट बचे थे प्लांट, सो दिनेश टोल्ड मी, तो इतने बड़े बड़े हो गए, दे जस्ट लव्ड मुंबई वेदर। तो दिनेश बोले इनको लेके जाना है। मैंने बोला यस, बिल्कुल लेके जाना है इनको, किसी को भी छोड़ के नहीं जाना है। सो आई सेड दे आर बेबीज, दे हैव टू गो। सो आई रिमेम्बर्ड, सो मैंने हर एक प्लांट को लिटरली दोनों हाथों में पकड़ के 9 बिग, आई वुड से ट्रीज दे आर नाउ, 9 दफा 9 को मैंने उनको हाथ में पकड़ के उनको बोला कि लुक, अभी की डिफिकल्ट जर्नी बहुत है, बहुत टर्मोइल वाली जर्नी है, कितना दिन लगेंगे मेरे को नहीं पता है, हवा नहीं आनी है, धूप नहीं आनी, लेकिन सबको सही सलामत भोपाल मेरे पास पहुंच जाना है, किसी को कोई नुकसान नहीं होना, एंड ब्रेस योर सेल्फ फॉर द इम्पैक्ट। ऐसे प्लीज रीच इन परफेक्ट कंडीशन। So canter was locked for more than 2 days, 2.5 days, or maybe 3 days. And when the canter was opened, all the trees were lush green. I would like Anju to please show the photograph. And I smiled and I said, welcomed. So this realized that one is on the left side is the Bombay home. They are in the drawing room placed. And now you can see they are in the better shape right now in Bhopal home, that is on the right side. Yeah, thank you, Anju. So I will end my talk here with few learnings. I will read. We have so many conditionings, so many knots, so many sanskars that we are not aware of. For me, it all became possible only by self-observation, nothing else. And yes, if we owe all the negative emotions, all the negative things in us, if we own them, the work that we do on ourselves become easier. थोड़ी फायदा होता है. Of course, hard work है. Every moment, every day का work है. और यहाँ पे एक चीज जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट समझ में आई ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ माई लाइफ, आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल for everything that is happening to my life, nobody else. And I remember the lines of Solibai here that he says, level of being attracts life. So there is no such thing as bad incident or situation in life. Life or situations, they want us to learn and grow from all these experiences which we term as bad. Life is a great teacher. Be open to learn and let life rip you apart. Be open for that. Thank you everyone for patiently listening to me. Thank you. Thank you. Shall we go ahead with the meditation, or someone wants to say something? Yes, Vatsala ma'am. Sir, I think you have to change the settings.
Now, whosoever wants to speak can unmute themselves. They will be able to unmute.
Hema ji,
Ji ma'am.
it was a wonderful session. There were tears in my eyes. Your journey, there is something that touched my heart.
Thank
It's the path which we have all taken. And at the end of it, I am so happy to have heard you because it's a story of hope and courage. It's been a very positive thing, and many things that you said about asking forgiveness and soul conferencing, thanks to Umaji, which made a big impact in my life. And you are there to say how efficacious it was. And thirdly, we are responsible for everything that happens. I could not have had more words of wisdom than this. It's a wonderful, very moving, very profound. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hear both your part 1 and 2 many times.
Thank you.
Many times. You have done a wonderful thing in sharing. You have given many of us hope and courage. Thank you so much, and lots of love to you. Lots of love to you.
Thank you. You know, there was a sentence which Godsar said that we have been a sinner and a saint both. So my Aztec civilization and my thing showed me what I was.
In my colorful language, I'll say we have been angel. There's an angel and a devil inside us.
Yeah, that is also there.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to you for the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Another thing which I missed out mentioning here, with all the self-observation that happened, all the negative things that I used to see in myself, when the same things I used to see in other person, फिर मेरे को बुरा लगना कम लगने लग गया था, क्योंकि अब मेरे अंदर भी तो है ना, तो तेरे अंदर नहीं है क्या, that you are pointing or judging that person, you know, how he can get angry. You also have anger, so it's okay. So वो उसमें भी बहुत चेंज आया अंदर अंदर. सभी तो जूझ रहे हैं. It's okay then. Yes, Sonika.
We learn from others goodness and as well as the bad traits also.
May I?
Yes, please.
As you were telling about your planters, I also want to add something which reminded me. When I was working in Tamil Nadu, we planted banana trees in our front yard. Of course, in the ground, not in the pots. So when we were shifting from there to Delhi, my son was very attached to that plant. He told me, Mama will take this. And he even named those plants. So the name of that banana tree was Banu. He said, I cannot go to Delhi without Banu and I want to take him along with me. I said, it will die, Ram, because this is in the ground. It's not what we can take. He was very disappointed. You know, only with that thing, rest everything was fine. And we came to Delhi and I joined near Agra. And ever since we have come here, more than 6 times, we actually had bananas. fresh from the banana tree 6 times. Can you imagine? So very first time when we got, I told my son, I said, see Ram, this is a gift from Banu. Just because you gave him life, you didn't pluck it, and somebody else is eating that fruit, but in return you got fruit here, and we never expected that we'll get, bananas here. So at times we have to let a lot of things let go also without any expectations. So he admitted that, it was the right decision leaving the plant alive there for somebody else. So whatever time we had with the banana tree, we took great care, and then we don't know what happened to it. But we got a reward from it, and every time when I get a banana from here, fresh from the plant, I say thanks to that banana tree in Tamil Nadu, that because of you, we are eating these fresh bananas. So I think it's
Very
like
amazing.
karma, it's a vicious circle. Whatever we give comes back to us, rather much more than that, what we leave.
Ji,
So I just wanted to say only that. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Srivalsan, you wanted to
Yes,
share
yes,
something?
yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing such moving and really emotional experiences.
Thank you, sir.
I used to see all these entities and deities very small child on from a small age. Now also I used to see, but I am very fearful of that. Very scared. When I see, I'll be scared immediately. When my father passed away in 1998, and after that he used to come most of the days. He used to come to me, and I'm just sleeping, just going to bed. Immediately he come, and I'll be very fearful, very scared. He'll speak to me. When he was alive, we used to speak. Without his presence, I can speak. So many kilometers away, I'm working in State Bank, always away from my home. I used to speak him without his presence. In the night, 1 or 2 hours, I can speak. After it's passed away, I can't speak. Then he came to me. Most of the day he came to me. By the time I'll be very scared. Then I'll find I told him, please don't come. I'm so scared. After that, he never come. Is there a way to attract him to come, ask him to come? This age I asked to want his presence.
Can I add something, Mr. Srivalsan?
So of course, sir.
You see, it is like this, that you instead of having fear, he is your father.
Yes.
So
Then also I'm scared, sir.
no, I just when you go to sleep, just send him your love and just tell him, I hope you are very happy wherever you are. I love you. So next time when he comes, you will not be scared,
Okay.
because that shift will happen within you,
Okay.
and the
Then
fear will go away.
Okay. When I see so many entities, then also I got scared.
Don't worry about it.
I have learned a shamanic healing, but I'm not practicing that. I want to move away these fears and scare. What are you doing?
Go on doing you have done shamanic, no?
Okay.
Why don't you do the journeys to find out what is the real cause for your fear?
Okay.
These tools are given so that we can work on ourselves also.
Okay. I'm a very fearful person because of that. But while working in bank as a manager, I have to attend so many meetings, so many things. That time I'm attending. So working in some villages, always very
all the refining exercises that are there,
yes.
they also work on fear, which
I'm
we do.
also learning law of attraction. So many things I'm doing.
But if you do refining exercises, it will help you.
Work is available. Fine.
I can make you learn.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else wants to say something?
Can I say?
Beg your pardon?
Nazia.
Nadia, just a moment. Yes.
Thank you, Hemaji, for the statement. Let life rip you apart. That is the gem. Let life rip you apart. Truly, just don't be afraid. And whatever comes, just be grateful because it is for your transformation. A caterpillar coming to butterfly, and that's what I saw in your story. And I know I can understand that it is not easy coming from, when we go out, we meet people, it's a different thing. But when we are housewives taking care of families and children, there is another level of fear when it is because I have seen my mother go through this, and I have watched her cry when she was coming out. So I have felt to some extent the pain. It takes a lot of courage to come out. And especially in this realm, in the spiritual realm, it's again a different story. She was in a professional. So Himaji, your story is going to be an inspiration to so many people. And one more thing I want to say, just as it came in Master Shah teaches, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So we all have a future and we all have a past. And
That's what I said, na?
Yes.
Look at what I have done in the Aztec one.
Exactly. So we all have done mistakes, and if we are here, we also have done some very good things. That we are in this group, we are part of this journey, and we are guided by so many masters in this Tuesday gathering. So I'm very grateful to be here and to be able to attend. Every session is a challenge. Every time, something can come up. There are possibilities where I can't attend. So I'm truly very grateful to my teachers for making this possible for me to be able to be here, to listen to you, attend to you, having great teachers like you, Gaur sir, and everybody in the Tuesday, and everybody is an inspiration. So everybody has to share this story here. I am very eager now to listen to all.
Yes, everybody has to share their stories.
Thank you.
Now start preparing your talk.
Yes, sir. You inspired me about Hemaji.
Looking for people who will come and speak.
Yes, sir. I have to talk to you about it. Thank you, sir.
I wanted to share that
Yes, Umaji.
more than the teachings and everything that we learned from you, Imaji, what I admired so much was so meticulously you put it up, given us slides to, and you've really taken the pains. It is not just, oh, I have to talk. No, it's not that. You've really made the effort to share that which is most important in your life.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you for
so much.
acknowledging it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hema, I would also like to share something.
Ji, sir.
See, your talk
Ji.
brought something to my mind which perhaps I have not shared earlier. That even when I did not know about soul healing, I was able to instinctively connect with things. And one incident that stood out for me was that it was, I think, the 1st of January 1991. And we were in Ganeshpuri. There was a program. We decided to travel through the night back to Mumbai because I had an office the next morning, and some young girls were, I think, in their post-graduation, or the medical, one girl was doing her MBBS. So they also wanted to come to Mumbai because they had their classes, and they said, "Uncle, mujhe hame bhi le chalo." So I had these 2-3 girls who were aged around 19, 18, 19, 20, something like that. I and my wife and my son, we were traveling. And Just before we hit the Western Express Highway, I could feel that there was a smell of petrol, which became very prominent in the car. It was the old car, the old Fiat. So I could sense that there's something wrong with the carburetor. So at that time, my only prayer to God was that let this car not be stuck up before we reach the highway, because then that area was absolutely desolate. So it happened, the car stopped when we hit the highway, and it was close to a petrol pump. So then what to do? I checked up, the carburetor was leaking. So somebody came and said, okay, we'll put some soap into it, seal the leak with the help of soap, and this car will travel. It was not to be, and we could not start the car. And in the meanwhile, it was about 2 o'clock in the night, and some shady characters started coming, gathering and roaming around there, and I was really worried about these girls who were there with me. And in desperation, I said to the car that, look, if something happens to these girls, how would I face their parents in Mumbai? And lo and behold, the next time I turned the ignition, the car started. Now the person who was trying to fix things, and it was not getting fixed, I just told everybody that get into the car, we are going. He said, "Ek furlong bhi nahi jayegi car." I said, nothing doing, we are moving. And the car moved. It was about 80 kilometers that we traveled in that car. I dropped each of these girls in their respective homes. Somebody was in Andheri, somebody elsewhere, some Jew, and finally reached Nepeansy Road, where we used to live. And I parked the car in the parking area. I had a person who was a mechanic, and I just had to call him. He would come and take the car and fix it, and in the evening he will present me with a bill. So I told him, "Dekho, carburetor kharab ho gaya. I think carburetor has to be changed. You come and have a look at it." So he came, he took the keys, went downstairs, and within 5 minutes he was back up, and he said, "You say you drove in this car for 80 kilometers?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Don't tell me a lie." I said, "No, why should I tell you a lie? It's the truth." I said, "It cannot be. Come with me." So he took me downstairs. The bonnet was open. He showed me the carburetor. There was a huge crack from in the middle, from one side of the one end to the other. And he just took one half portion, which was absolutely loose, out and put it in my hands. He said, "This is your carburetor. How can this car run?" So I told him that, "Look, I do not know how can this car run, but all I know was that I made a prayer to this car to protect these girls who were there with me, and it moved." It was a miracle. He refused to believe me. The other time I felt very strongly about this communication with these things was that I used to live in Kolhapur. I was alone, maintaining 2 establishments. There used to be some kind of, number of clothes. And then I would make it a habit of giving away some clothes to the persons who were daily wagers in the office. So one day I had called a Delhi wager to my place in Kolhapur, the residence, and just because I wanted to discard some 3-4 shirts. So I stood by the wardrobe, took those 3-4 shirts out, put them on my bed, and the bell rang. I opened the door. This man had come, whom I had called, and I wanted to give it to him. And suddenly those shirts spoke to me. And they said, "Why are you giving us away? We don't want to go." And I could not give them away. And the next time I went to see Professor Mungle, he was smiling at me. And then out of the blue he said, "Arey God साहब, आपकी shirts आपको बहुत प्यार करती हैं आजकल." And I burst out laughing and I said, "Sir, this is what happened." So he said, "अरे तुम्हारे यहाँ जो होता है उससे ज्यादा नाटक तो मेरे यहाँ होता है। तो इतने लोग आते हैं, बहुत सारे कपड़े दे जाते हैं, तो किसी दिन मैं मन में अपने इंटेंशन बनाता हूँ कि आज कुछ कपड़े निकाल दूंगा, अलमारी में जगह नहीं है, अलमारी में जगह नहीं है, बट अलमारी खोलता हूँ तो देखता हूँ कि सारे कपड़े जो है वो बड़े भयभीत हैं, परेशान हैं कि किसके ऊपर गाज गिर जाएगी, उसको निकाल दिया जाएगा, तो फिर मैं दरवाजा बंद कर देता हूँ." So this is what happens, and it can happen to any of one of us if we just start paying attention to what we are using, and this communication can happen. And when this communication starts, it can make a lot of difference to our lives. And one other thing that comes to my mind is that, of course, the intention matters. So when the car sort of did that miracle for me, the intention was to make sure that the young ladies traveling with me remained safe and secure. And at some point of time, I was not very happy in Kolhapur and I wanted a change. It was not happening. So one day, out of sheer curiosity, I asked Professor Mungle, and he said, "It's not going to happen. You are going to be here for some time." I said, "Okay." But one day, I don't know what overcame me. I was just sitting at home, meditating, and this very strong thought came that if I do not get a change this time, I will put in my papers and leave the job. A few days later, I met someone who became the chairperson or chairman of our board, and I didn't have to go to Delhi, I didn't have to get any recommendations made. I met her in Kolhapur and she asked me, "Acha, in Pune," and she said, "हमें पता नहीं आप पुणे में रहते हैं." कहा, "नहीं, हम तो 7 साल से बाहर घूम रहे हैं, वीकेंड्स में घर आते हैं." अच्छा, तो then somehow this came out of my mouth कि 7 साल हो गए, घर का खाना नहीं मिला. And I got my change. And when I went to Mungle sir with the transfer order, he told me, he said, "You had put a very difficult condition before God. So he had to listen to you." But out of this, I could see the power of intention, but the understanding over a period of time came that perhaps it is not so good to make that strong an intention. Because after all, we are here. So if some karma remains with some place or person, then one may have to come back again or maybe finish it in some other way.
सर दूसरी चीज ये है कि we with a limited mind think that this will be good for me.
But I don't know, because this intention also was made just after I had got up from meditation. So I can't say that it was my logical mind which was making it. So maybe it was the existence that decided that, okay, this man is not very happy in Kolhapur, he needs a change. This happened. But this is what can happen. So if we are a little more sensitive to things around us, and you spoke about the past life connections. I was born twins. I had a sister who did not survive. And we both were born in the 7th month. So in those days where there was no premature babies units, nothing, survival was very difficult. And many, births were stillbirths. Somehow I survived and the sister could not. And later on in this PLR, through pre-PLR and through other things, what I understood was that this sister was somebody, a soul that really loved me. In one lifetime, I was a soldier, I had been injured, I had escaped. She gave me shelter. And when the enemy soldiers came looking for me, even if they found me, she somehow made sure that I was not handed over to them. And I served her well. And that soul connection was so strong that in this lifetime, when I was coming, she decided, somehow she knew that I will not be born in a very happy circumstance. So she decided to come as a twin. So for 7 months, she held me and gave me company in my mother's womb. And when the delivery happened, her job had been done. So she decided to leave. So very, very strange things can happen. These soul connections are inexplicable. But if somehow we come to understand them, then all that we can have is tears of gratitude and love. Because love alone counts. Who is going to decide out of love to give company to another soul in the mother's womb for 7 months and then leave? So it is your experiences and the way you have described it have opened up a lot of things, shedding light on many of us, our own experiences. So thank you so much. It is wonderful.
Thank you.
And there was one more thing, Hema talked about healing her uterus with love. And this connection, how because of some past life connections, the uterus was giving trouble. So one of my relatives underwent transplant of lung, and the new lung was not getting homogenized. It was not functioning well. So one day this thought came to me that there are things operating at 2 levels. This man does not have some great karma with the lung. That is why the lung organ is something that had refused to work, and because of that, even the new lung is not functioning well. So I wrote out a forgiveness practice for him. We do the forgiveness with the old lung and seek forgiveness for whatever wrongs might have happened with that old lung in many lifetimes. And then do a gratitude practice with the new lung. Offer it a lot of love. Do a practice of gratitude with the person who, because he passed away in an accident, his lungs came to be transplanted in the body. And though the new lungs were not getting homogenized, easily. From the point when he started this detailed practice of forgiveness and gratitude, his results started improving. And he got released from the hospital in due course. So this is how it works. So if we can just begin to offer our love and gratitude to everything that we have, or even to those who are not being so kind at this point of time, because there is some reason for, there's some seed of our own behavior which is creating this issue. So the things will be evened out. It's a great experience that you shared.
There is one more point which I will mention here. Whenever we have any issue with our body organ, we try to disassociate ourselves. वो मेरा ही नहीं है, मेरी टांग में दर्द होता है, मेरा घुटना में हमेशा दर्द है. अब घुटना अलग थोड़ी ना है, it's me only ना. So अब बहुत बारी मैं लोगों को ये बोलती हूँ, if suppose everyone is a mother, if your child is crying, you don't push your child away. You will pick the child in your arms, cuddle him, pacify him. Okay, I am here. What do you want? Same we have to do with our knee or any other organ or uterus. What is it? Why you are in pain? Tell me. जब सुबह उठते बैठते लोग सिर्फ एक ही डायलॉग, मेरा घुटना में दर्द है, मेरा घुटना दर्द करता है, मेरा ऐसा नहीं है, तो वो तो और ही परेशान करेगा.
And there was one thing that I wanted to add to the point you made about asking for help. You said that, you started talking to your friends about your issues in life. And because several perspectives came, and it became much easier to take a decision or to see things in a different light.
Yes, sir.
So spiritually, when we are ready to ask for help, we are actually, when we talk about our own issues, we are emptying ourselves. So when we begin to empty ourselves, we ourselves are creating that space where it becomes possible for a new point of view to emerge. We stop dissociating with whatever viewpoint we have. So this is it's a purely spiritual exercise. When we begin to share, that means we are emptying. So when we start emptying ourselves, the new possibilities are going to be created. There is something else that I can point out. In our Guru's ashram, people were drawn from different backgrounds. And you are given a task, you do this program, you do this, you do that. Now there were, in a government setup or any other setup, there are hierarchies. Somebody has a final say. Here in a particular team, nobody has a final say, and everybody coming from a different background may have some kind of a say. Now, how to take it forward? So there was a beautiful technique that we used for some time. Whatever is the discussion, whatever is being discussed, you write it out on a board. So what happens the moment whatever one is saying is written out, it becomes possible for that person to detach himself. It becomes a statement on the board. It is no longer his viewpoint. So when everybody starts writing what they are saying, what their viewpoint is, then all of them have really detached themselves from their viewpoint to a certain extent, that now these are statements made on the board, and it becomes very easy to come to a conclusion or see things differently. So this is also something that we all can do. If we are faced with a situation and we start writing about it. Writing is a practice most people are not willing to do. It takes effort, but the moment you start writing, it becomes so easy for you to come to the state of the witness, and you can see yourself. So it may be something which is likable, so you don't feel proud of it. It may be something which is ugly. Some deep-rooted pattern starts coming out and you start writing about it. It's not very happy, it's ugly. But yet you know it's now written out, so you can detach yourself from it. So it's a part of spiritual writing, is a part of spiritual healing. And that is why then the saints, when they reach that state, when they write something, there is so much power in that writing. Just by reading we are transformed, our lives change. So anybody who is interested in doing that kind of work that you have done, one way is to start writing about their challenges in life or whatever that comes. So these are some of the things that I felt like sharing. Thank you.
Can we do the meditation?
पूछो लोगों से.
मैं जल्दी खत्म करा देगी. Short and sweet.
Oh, wonderful.
So सबके पास किशमिश तो होगा ही. अगर किसी के पास नहीं है, so किशमिश एक अपने पास ले लीजिए.
थोड़ा नहीं तो चीनी का ढेला. Sugar will do.
ग्रेप हो सकता है यार सर. चॉकलेट हो सकता है, लेकिन चॉकलेट मेल्ट हो जाएगा, पर रख सकते हैं अगर नहीं है कुछ तो. So just be comfortable in whichever position you want. Gently close your eyes. So this is a short mindfulness exercise. This encourages present moment awareness of the senses, connecting with the taste, touch, and smell while you eat a kishmish or any other food that you have with you. So basically, we always go into an autopilot mode or a mechanical mode whenever we eat our food. So this will help you in becoming more mindful in what we are eating. So I would like you, now you can open your eyes. I would like you to first take a raisin and hold it in the palm of your hand or between your thumb and finger. Just take time to see it. Really focus on it. Add this kishmish or a piece of food that you have with full care and attention. Imagine that you had just dropped in from some outer planet called Mars or some other planet, or first time you are seeing this thing. You have never seen this object in your life before. See it with those eyes. Let your eyes explore every detail of it, where the light is shining on the raisin, where the darker hollows are there, where the folds are there, any unique features it has. Does it have a small stem also? So you have come from Mars, and this is the thing you are watching. Now explore its texture also with your thumb and finger. And if you want, you can just close your eyes and just feel it. How does it feel? Once we close our eyes, our touch feeling enhances. So you can close your eyes, just feel it between your thumb and fingers. Now you can hold the resin beneath your nose and try to smell it. With each inhalation, take it any smell or aroma or any fragrance that may arise. And when you are smelling it, is there any other sensations that are happening in your mouth, in your stomach, some juices coming out in your mouth? Is something happening right now? Now gently place the resin in your mouth without chewing it. Notice how it gets into your mouth. Spend some few minutes focusing on the sensations of having it in your mouth. Don't chew it. Just explore this resin with your tongue. What is happening to the resin? Are you getting impatient that you want to eat it now? Just chew it now. Are there any more juices that are coming? What's happening? Just observe it. When you are ready, prepare to chew the resin. Notice how and where it needs to be chewed. Be aware of the saliva in your mouth. Intentionally, you are biting this resin, maybe on your left side or the right side. Which side it goes? Are you aware that this is the side you generally eat? Now notice what happens after you have chewed it a little bit. Experience any waves of taste that comes out as you continue chewing it. Not swallowing it yet. Pay attention to the resin now. What has become of it? And when you feel you are ready, you can swallow it. First is the intention to swallow, and then you consciously swallow it. Finally, see whether some left out remains of the resin are still there. They are still moving down, still gulping down. And just observe here how your body as a whole felt after this small exercise in terms of sight, touch, smell, and taste. Did you find any particular thing little difficult to hold on? eating with such focused attention on a single object? Was it difficult? Or it was easy for you? See, are there any more other remains of the raisin? Your tongue naturally goes here and there, searching for some leftovers. How autopilot mode is always kicked in without me realizing. Just smile and slowly, slowly open your eyes. Anybody wants to say something? Of course, we could have taken it a little longer, but we were already exceeding the time.
Great experience.
G?
It's a great experience. Experience of goosebumps.
Oh, interesting.
Goosebumps and tickling in.
All the senses.
Really, it's very difficult.
Yes.
लगता है पेट भर गया.
सर कुछ कह रहे थे आप?
नहीं कह रहे, लगता है पेट भर गया भीतर से.
पेट भर गया. और कई बार ऐसा भी होता है उस रेजन को खाने का मन भी नहीं करता है. अरे इसको क्या खाएं, बेचारे को अंदर ही पड़ा रहे.
नहीं खाते ही अगर इतना ध्यान करके खाए तो एक रेजिन में लगता है पेट भर गया.
Master Uma, would you like to say something?
It's a lovely experience. I do this very often.
Okay.
And not just with a raisin, I do it with, even other things, just to feel it. It gives you that even when you sit down for your meals, I like to just put it in my mouth and keep eyes closed and
Closed,
feel it.
yes.
It feels very,
Many
very,
people, they eat their food with closed eyes because they are just bringing everything in.
Yeah.
It's a very good
Thank you so much.
one. Okay, sir.
ठीक है हेमा.
तो क्लोजिंग मंत्र से क्लोज करें सर.
Please.
Okay. So we close today's session with the closing mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.